What improved your life so much you wish you did sooner? Stop arguing with random strangers on internet. Sometimes I'll type out a comment for the catharsis, and then just delete it, and go on my way. Doing at least one chore a day. You would be amazed at how well getting something done, even if you hate it, can fight back against certain depressive mentalities, particularly the ones that convince you you're useless or are a burden. This is great advice. For me, a triple 30 worked wonders. Every day spend 30 minutes cleaning/chores, 30 minutes exercise, and 30 minutes of self-improvement, which could be anything, e.g. practicing guitar. Get home from work, knock off the triple 30 in 1.5 hours. And oh man, the sloth after that feels so good and so earned. And what's 1.5 hours? Nothing. Highly recommend it. I started viewing things as potential experiences rather than just opportunities for achievement. Before that, for example, if I took a class, then I was only focused on the grade. If I couldn't get a good grade, I didn't like the class. Heck, I wouldn't even start a book if I thought it might be too hard or too long and I might not finish it. Then I realized the purpose of classes, and books and other things, was to learn, and that hard ones were likely the ones I learned the most from, even if I didn't get the best grade. I started doing all sorts of stuff with the idea that I just wanted the experience. Even if I was the worst one out there, who cares? I wasn't there for the achievement, I wanted to learn things. This works socially as well, and I started taking way more risks, telling myself that, at the very least, it would be a learning experience. I saw a saying once: "It's only a failure if you stop trying, otherwise, it's an experiment." I love it. Moved away from the state I grew up in. I didn't know how unhappy I was. I had gotten used to being miserable, and now that I'm in a better area, I'm a completely different person. I did this but moved halfway around the world. It's amazing how much background stress is gone when I finally accepted that I was just not meant to be where I was. I miss my family, but we stay in regular contact, and I have a lovely found family here. Sometimes just up and getting out of a place that isn't for you is the best course of action. Learning to set boundaries and say no. It's so important to be able to do this, and while most people realize the benefits for yourself, it's so much nicer to have a partner you know will say no and set boundaries. An ex of mine was really worried about messing things up and would rarely say no or set boundaries, even though I was constantly pushing her to set them, and I had to be really slow and pay attention to her, as she tried to hide any discomfort so I would know. It stemmed from her past and how she was taught to act growing up, but we were able to work on it, and she was much better later on. While it's always important to watch out for your partner's reactions to make sure they're comfortable anyways, having someone who tells you when and when they don't feel comfortable makes a world of difference. All is to say, don't think it's selfish to say no and set boundaries. It's much better for everyone, especially yourself. Have a good day, smiley face. Daily exercise. It doubled my energy for an hour out of my day. And that's just the benefit you get now. You have no idea the dividends you'll collect on that as you age. The key to aging gracefully is in staying active. Reading books way more. I started reading science fiction and fantasy books instead of everything I read being great or literary, and I found I like reading things I enjoy more than things other people deem relevant or worthwhile. Finding the right therapist. Been in since I was 9, and found the right one at 23. It's only been maybe 6 months, but I've already unpacked so much more trauma in that small time than I did all the other years wasted in therapy. Setting rules for myself. After COVID started, I spent a year drinking and eating pizza every other day, and at that time I thought, why shouldn't I keep doing it if I enjoy it? You can die anytime, so you should make the most out of what little time you have, right? The problem being, apart from health consequences, that it quickly becomes not enjoyable, and I realize now how miserable I was during that time. Most things are only fun when you do them occasionally. Sounds obvious, I know, but it was not obvious for my dumbass. Now I have set rules for myself that I can only drink on Sundays and only eat junk food once a month, and it's so much more rewarding and fun. I begrudgingly started lifting weights when I was 30 due to some back pain that caused me to barely be able to get out of my office chair. I forced myself to go for a few weeks, Then I started looking forward to going to the gym, then after a while I became a total gym rat meathead. I wish I had started lifting when I was a teenager. Not only did it cure my back pain, but I lost weight, look and feel much better, and the doctor says all my health indicators are spot on now as I am in my 40s, and in addition it's like a hobby for me now that I tinker with and socialize with other people who are into the same thing, etc. Hiring a cleaner. I grew up in a house where money was tight. Whenever we heard people talking about their maid or housekeeper, we always assumed they were super rich. I'm not rich. Very much middle class. But my wife and I both work full-time and have a lot on our plates. We found a local person who has a small cleaning business. We keep up with day-to-day cleaning, dishes, laundry, immediate spills and messes, wiping things down, etc. Then once a month, a cleaner does a pass, focusing on dusting, deeper clean of the floors, bathrooms, etc. It's about the same cost as a date night, and it does so much to help us stay on top of things. Audiobooks. Commutes, walks, yard work, chores, watching kids at the park, lounging around, etc. are all way better and some of the highlights of my day. I even listen when I fall asleep, and it helped me sleep faster and gave me something to enjoy if I have a random bout of insomnia. I'm about to go camping and know I'll sleep like garbage and enjoy every minute of laying in a tent not sleeping. I dedicate at least 30 minutes every day to playing with my kid, full stop. I used to just play with him sometimes and feel guilty when I couldn't. But then I realized something. I was journaling every day about my feelings, and I realized that the high point of every single day was the time I spent playing pretend with him because we're both so joyful. He's 6, and he's growing up way too fast, and I adore him. So even when I'm exhausted and get really busy, I now set aside other grown-up responsibilities and make a fort, pretend to be a puppy, or make a fake dinner with him in his playhouse. I forget I'm his parent, or an adult for a half hour, and talk to him as if I were still his age. It makes him happier than anything in the world when Mommy plays with him, but the real surprise was noticing that it made me happy too. That time isn't just quality time, it's something my soul treasures as downtime from the rest of my life. I genuinely enjoy it, and I think most other people would too if they would just try it. Forget how silly it makes you feel and just do it. Started making meaningful relationships. I never used to check in on my friends. I was gone a lot and busy with work. At some point it clicked that I had not developed any meaningful relations with my friends, probably when I went through a traumatic event socially and had very few people check in on me. It's hard to stop being selfish. But when I finally started to think about what I wanted versus what I was giving, I realized I had to do better. I just started this one. I wake up 10 minutes sooner. That's it. 10 minutes. But it has motivated to move my butt early, which lets me get a few quick things done before I leave for work, and my husband appreciates coming home and not having to do all of the meal prep, since he's home before me and cooks dinner every night. It feels good.